It is CNN, but we're going to give it a chance. Van Lathan, I was wrong about the MAGA cult. I don't know what a MAGA cult is. I voted for Trump, but I ain't part of no cult.
You know, I'm going to say something on this show that I'm not sure I've heard anyone say before. I was wrong. When Donald Trump won, I thought that 75, 80 million Americans.
She looked at his face like that was a diss towards them.
Were all captured by the MAGA cult, and that they would go along with whatever President Trump said. And I was wrong. There are a lot of people who voted very purely and clearly on the fact that they were experiencing economic distress, and they wanted that economic distress to come to an end. I'm hearing from these people. I'm hearing from brothers who believed not in all of the social things or the rhetoric or the religious part of who Donald Trump is, but in the actuality, in their minds, that Donald Trump was a whiz businessman.
She waiting on him to say some bullshit. That's what she waiting on. Like, and Trump's only been president for what, like 3 months? If you really voted for him, you expect him to change the last 4 years in 3 months? You crazy. Come on. It's going to get worse. All the layoffs required. Look at California. They got to lay off people because they're going to be short $1 billion or something in L.A. Like, nobody expected this to be, you got at least the first year. After the first year, if it don't change, I'll be on Trump's ass. Like, motherfucker, I voted for you. You said you was going to do this, this, and this. Stop the wars. I'm still on him. He ain't stopped the war in Gaza. He ain't telling Israel, yo, let's stop this. I don't like that. But anyway, let's get back to this.
That was going to fix the American economy. They're confused. They don't know what's going on. They did not vote for harder times. And the reality is, as much spin as can be done on any network, it is going to be, in my opinion, irreparable harm done to the president's reputation if people experience a tremendous amount of pain, even in the short term, from the tariff.
I agree to that. But I think if you common sense, then you know it takes longer than 3 months. But they ain't going to like it. It might get harder a little bit. You got the board of education out of here and everything. People going to complain. Ain't no president where people ain't going to protest and say, listen, I thought it was going to be immediately, we're going to put these tariffs on China and stuff, but they bucking back. They're like, nah, you can't do that to us. Canada, nah, you can't do that to us. They bucking back. So we're going to experience a little bit of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, a tremendous amount of harm done to his reputation, but also I just want to, I need to correct the record, because I feel like I hear a lot of conservatives talking about, oh, the last time when Trump was in office, he put in those tariffs and everything was fine. Okay, here is JP Morgan talking about what happened the last time when he put in those tariffs. Steel tariffs created about 1,000 jobs for steelmakers who were protected by tariffs. They reduced employment by 75,000 in steel-using industries such as autos and construction as prices rose and sales fell. Similarly, in all industries affected by Trump's tariffs, duties boosted factory employment by 0.4%, but reduced payrolls by 2% because of overall costs rising and retaliatory
By the way,
tariffs. It costs jobs to raise prices.
By the way, there's something else to pay attention to when you're looking at the job creation from the tariffs in the first Trump administration, the price per job. When you look at some of the jobs that were created, you're paying, in one case, like $815,000 per job for the jobs that were created because of the costs that are offset by the tariffs themselves. Yeah. So it's not a great way of job creation. It's very costly to the American public to do it that way.
You know what's sad about this is 90,000 factories did shut down in America since 2000. And Trump said, there's a hole in the ship. And that's one of the reasons he won. And to Van's point, people thought he's a business guy. He's going to fix this. And he's going to disappoint those towns. He's going to disappoint those people who've been betrayed for the last 40 years, because this isn't going to help improve their lives. And there's going to be more disillusionment in this country and more anger that their lives aren't changing. And that, to me, is the saddest part of all of this.
Scott?
Well, I think what is true today was true for Joe Biden and every other president that came before either of these two guys. If people feel like their economic trajectory is on the upswing, they will give you political leash. And if they feel like their own trajectory is on the downswing, they will punish you. You go back to Ronald Reagan, and he even though there were hard times in that first Reagan term, people felt like the country was getting back on the right track. They were willing to give him time because they believed in his program. They believed in the confidence that Reagan was projecting about America. That's what Trump has to do here. To the people that you think are going to be impacted in the short term, and they may well be, and Trump has acknowledged that.
Yeah.
he has to make them believe that the long-term implications for this and their communities is worth it, even if they're experiencing a little short-term pain. So the political implication, Abby, I think, all goes on to the trajectory. Do you feel like things will go better in the future? And that is the salesman's challenge.
I feel like it will be better in the future because you feel it more, but it's like, oh, people getting back to common sense. He's getting men out of women's sports. You can speak your mind again without being canceled. Like, it feels like, hey, we're correcting common sense. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. You can do what you want. You can switch sides, but you can't make me do it. I don't want a man, a boy, and my little girl's swimming meets talking about something. He's a woman. No, okay, well, you trans, less than 1% of the population, have your own sport, or still do that because you're still a boy. And I could say that on YouTube and not feel like I'm gonna be shown about, oh my God, like we did under the Biden administration. We can start deporting people. People see their communities cleaned up. They're not scared. And after we deal with them, we can start dealing with the Bloods, the Crips, the BDs, GDs, Vice Lords, everybody. It's like a no-nonsense approach. So seeing that happen, you're like, okay, I'm going to give him a little bit more time. All right, I'm still suffering. Eggs are still high as hell, but I'm going to give him a little. Okay, he stopped giving money to the Ukraine and Russia. He's telling them he needs to say, okay, I'm going to give him a little bit of edge. That's what it's about. But in the long term, like I said, you got to give them that year. 3 months is crazy, but people want it now. They feeling crazy. It's what they say, what John O'Brien say, there's too much month at the end of their check. Like it's not stretching. Like you ain't robbing Peter to pay Paul. You got to go rob Josh to try to pay Peter and Paul. Then you owe Josh something. People just got to feel like, okay, in a year from now, it's going to be better. And that's hard for a lot of people who live in paycheck to paycheck, going to work, struggling, feeling like they're working 80 hours and still ain't got enough. It's hard, but you just got to take that. That's the job of the president.
It also has to be true because at the end of the day, if people start losing their jobs, which some of them will, this is going to end badly for Trump. Rhetoric is not going to do anything about that. I just want to play what one car dealer said earlier this morning, just about what's ahead for his business, pretty much immediately.
The cost is going to get passed to the consumer. There's no doubt about that. There's nothing we can do about that. I can't eat the cost. No matter what, all of us are going to sell less cars.
This is a car dealership. Most Americans are underwater because of their car. They out here buying $20,000 cars with 14, 15, 16, 29% interest rate. They shouldn't be buying a car anyway. So this is kind of, take it with a grain of salt. It's a fucking car dealership. Come on. We know they're not good to us. We're gonna pass the buck to them. Nobody should be coming to a fuck. Just go to get it pre-owned dealership under 10,000, good miles, whatever. Come on.
And then we have to make the hard decisions. So that's laying people off. That's cutting vendors out. That's reducing our inventories and not ordering as many cars. All these things to me are negative impacts to the economy.
But I think he's got to get some deals in the short term, right? He's got to get some wins early, start equaling out these with our trading partners. If he gets those early wins and people start to see progress, he will continue to have that leash.
You know what's interesting? We're having a lot of conversations about President Trump and his political future and what it means for him to lose people. What we're not talking about, at least in a robust way, are the actual American people. The people who are being asked right now to sacrifice, to pay higher prices, to potentially lose their jobs for an economic future that they can't see and that there's absolutely zero clarity on. That you don't know why the tariffs are really there. You get 4 or 5 different answers as to why they're there.
It's that way no matter. The average person, that's why they vote for Democrats over 50 years and we ain't get nothing. Black people, I'm speaking of, Black Americans. Because they say, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, let's do this, and then they don't do it. So to Van Lathan's point, it's kind of, or not to his point, to just say, like, you always have hope. No matter who the president is, you're hey, you're my team. Let's see what happens. As long as there's still time on the clock, anything can happen, right? 1 second on the clock, you can throw that Hail Mary, boom. So we have to wait. Now, come back a year, if we still talking about it in 9 months to a year, yeah, I'm going to be on President Trump's behind. Like, yo, what's up? Come on. What we got to swing a different direction. Okay, that didn't work. Now what we going to do? Because you're president. He's president.
You don't know how they're going to benefit, but you're expected to lose your job, pay higher prices, not buy a car, do all of this stuff for what?
I think that the choices facing the administration are tough, but one of them is just to change course. They can do that at any moment. And I think it's also possible, given how Trump has behaved in the past, that he would do that in the future, maybe even in the
She's saying behaved in the past, but that's a good leader, right? To say, hey, you know what? We tried to do this and it didn't work. We're going to change courses. That wouldn't be a bad thing. Like with Van Lathan started off and say, hey, nobody done this before. Say, I was wrong. So if Trump come out and say, I was wrong, of course, people are going to be like, oh, my God, he's wrong. Which you could easily say, you know what? We commend President Trump. He came in with a plan. He was on it. He went straight to it, and it didn't work, and he shifted like a good leader. But they won't say that. It's going to be, oh, yep, I told you he was wrong. Look at that. Oh, he's wrong. And then somehow when he shifts, he's still going to be wrong. But we'll see what happens. We just got to give it some time. I believe in it. I believe the terrorists could work. I believe that those other nations need America more than America need them. We ain't talking about the people. People of all the globe are good. I believe that China needs us more than we need China, but we've been so dependent on them that they've been our little pacifier, and we've been importing everything. As soon as that pacifier is gone, we like, crying baby now. We just gotta wait. You let that baby cry enough. Say, hey, the baby ain't wet. The baby warm. It ain't cold. It's been fed. Okay, we're just gonna wait till the baby stop, and the baby gonna learn. Okay, this is the new norm. I ain't got my pacifier no more. I gotta soothe myself. That's what the American people are gonna do. But either way, it ain't like people was so prosperous under Biden, and then now it's going downhill. It's been going downhill. Trump was supposed to stop it from going downhill, which hasn't been done yet. But make no mistake about it, they wasn't going up and then Trump made them go down. No, they've been going down, and they're like, Trump, when you gonna pull us back up? So he ain't create this problem. He could make it worse potentially, but he ain't create this problem. Let me know what y'all think, Cave Dwellers. Like, share, subscribe, all that. Please, we're coming at you every day with the truth. And no Republican, Democrat, just the fucking truth. Down the middle.